I am recording this because it's much easier to like put my thoughts on the table because the last time I plotted the book was a really long time ago. It's the 28th of September 2025, which is really, really long time since the last time I plotted the book. The basics of the plan is to push John, at least the first part is to push John towards south. The middle is to push John towards kingship, leadership, and the end would be to push John towards kingship. That that is the John plot of the whole thing. Now, Skylar's plot would be to learn this new technique of firebending, fire lending. I just watched out to perfect her craft, to become better at whatever she's doing, but leave it unfulfilled because there is someone else who will fulfill her destiny. Emilia's would be to stir up chaos. Kyvern's would be to aid Emilia into doing so. Ryman's would be to abet chaos. Saul's would be to guide John towards this kingship. Ren and Stan would be there to explain the southern hierarchy, because Saul finds it too distasteful. Um, Williams would be to guide, would be to act as a spiritual mentor towards John, even when he is not present, a sort of uh, metaphorical mentor. Did I get all the? Yeah. So let's start with the basic uh, layout. First of all, the queen dies. The queen dies because she breaks an oath. What oath does she break? She is bound by the Elkarian law to keep after the sword, and she uh, tells someone else, someone outside the order, someone outside the religion, about the sword, and it was done in a sort of way to know that there is still hope in the world, there is still purpose in this world, to like sort of high lift the spirits of her husband. But the gods took offense to it, and then she died as a really horrific death, because that's what happens through blood vows. When you swear on blood that something is going to happen, that you are not going to do a certain thing, that you are prohibiting yourself, you are limiting yourself, you are restricting yourself to not do a certain thing, and then you go and do it, that not only disregards the whole trust thing, it also uh, directly attacks the gods, because you are telling to them that their control over the realm, over the loyalties of men is not enough, is not strong enough to stir you away from disregarding the whole oath thing. So the gods took offense to it, and they killed Em- Ikra. They killed Ikra of Zelus. Later on, the king finds her in this state, and he blames himself because he knows what Ikra did, because she did it for him, and he blames himself through his death, but he is never able to tell this shame, and this eats at him, and he too dies in shame. Saul hears of this. Saul, he does not die. That Ryman does not die immediately. He holds a sort of tourney, a sort of memorial for Ikra, in which Saul comes beforehand, because Ikra had sent him a letter, and Saul understood the gravity of the situation, and even though Ikra did not mention the fact that she did offend the gods, she alluded to it in the letters and all the symbolisms. And so, in doing so, the funeral itself is not held in the northern custom. The funeral itself is held in the southern customs. A disregard for the what do you call it, the dogma of the North, this sort of northern brotherhood, this northern alliance. He disregards it, this supremacy on the royal king. He says, "No, I will not have it. My wife died a southerner. She will be cremated. She will be burnt." And a lot of people took offense to that, but Ryan, being the headstrong person he is, he goes ahead with that plan. Now, who is responsible for carrying this ash? Usually in southern custom, the person that is responsible to, do the last rites of a person is the heir of said person. Now, what the clear message would be is that Raymond has crowned uh, Skylar, to whom he says, "Go deliver these ashes to the tether trees." Tether trees being the last remaining tether between heaven and earth, the ones that the sages planted. That's one of the explanations. Explanations to the tether trees. I believe it was Aaron himself, the giants. they turned into trees, and through their roots came out Kamran, Karim. But it's nothing is really certain. Nobody really knows. What the bottom line here is that the Southerners think Skylar is the king, Queen is the heir, and the Northerners would obviously support Emilia for two reasons. First of all, Emilia is more practical towards the north. She's more warm towards the north, and she is also really like a Northerner because she has fair skin and white hair, light hair, not white. And she also prefers the mannerisms of the north as opposed to the south. Whereas Skylar looks like a spitting image of her mother, who was a brown, a girl, who was one of the prettiest girls in the entire realm, but she was also like a really learned person. And Skylar is trying to follow in that footstep, even though she's blind. She tries to pursue the art of literature, the art of books, the art of plays and stuff, trying to follow in the footsteps. Both the sisters are trying to follow in the footsteps of their mother, but they are ultimately failing at it. In that one is too devoted towards a certain dogma that she's trying to pitch, and the other kind of dies. So that really ruins the whole following the footsteps. Not first of all, you're trying to go. If you're wondering why I'm so coy about it, it's because I'm not really certain of which cause to kill. I think Skylar should be betrayal because that's a really thematic point, because Skylar has always been someone who trusts, and to die of trusting so much, I find some poetry there. Emilia should be her own gall, her own audacity, because she is really audacious, she is really prideful of things, and she like how can I put this? She's an asshole, is what I'm trying to say. I can't really approach it in a polite way. She's an asshole. What am I? Where were we? Yeah. So Saul, John, Skylar, and a lot of other Southerners depart for the south. Now, this journey towards south is really interesting to me because I have no fucking idea what to do in the north. Everything is happening in the south, and nothing really is happening in the north. I'd say there's political plays and stuff, but there's not really a lot. It's just Skylar and his shenanigans. There's Harvin, there's Monk, there's Ryman, there's Kybon, there's Seron, there is not a lot of players is what I'm trying to get at, and that's what I'm trying to solve, is that this lack of people. this lack of interest in the north as opposed to just in the south. And I'm trying to add to it. I'm trying to think of ways in making it interesting. The grander narrative should be like the conflict between the north and the south. But if I'm just putting investments in the south, this would be a really biased conflict. Like the reader would be 110% on the side of the south if I am just filling it with John chapters, with Saul chapters, with Skylar chapters, and Paul chapters, and Stan chapters, and Ren chapters. It's going to be really black and white. I would really not like it to be black and white. I would prefer if the how could I put it? I would prefer it more. I would prefer it more dearly if the people are more divided between the trust, like who to support. I want to go to both sides. I also want. This is the whole story is that like, redemption can also go the other way. Like a person that is good does not necessarily stay good, and the person that is bad does not necessarily stay bad. Someone as evil as Kyber, someone as twisted as Kyber can also do a pretty good thing. Someone as twisted as Celticars could also do pretty good things. And someone as good as John, with this dragon prince, this person destined to be the king, can be an authoritative dictator. That is the theme of the whole thing. And I'm trying to find a balance. I'm trying to find something to base it on. I'm trying to find the. I'm trying to build a world where someone has lived, and the people that have lived there have survived in a natural way. And I want to build a world where this story is a natural conclusion, and it's really hard. It is really hard because also I need to keep it in mind with the other universe, because at the end they should merge together, and well, they should also merge together. That there's convergence. At one point there was a unity, and from it, like rays, everything went flying off. But it did not really go like this. It went like this, and at some point it should come back all together. That is the story. That is Sage's era. In that it's an era. It's a time period. After which another time period would come. After which another would come. It's a cyclical thing. Divine era, Sage's era, Math's era, and the 13th dinner era, whatever you want to call it. I also have plans to introduce the Irisons into this, but I'm not really sure where to approach it. Like, I have grand plans. I have plans for the Lightlanders. I have plans with the trees. I have plans with the people that run the whole city. But I don't know is the bottom line that I'm trying to get at. Because where does this story go thematically? What is the substance of the story is more important than the plot of the story, because I have got pretty much down. That's why also I don't see myself publishing this in like the coming 10 years. I need to polish it such that it becomes the most refined, it becomes fine art. I need to polish it, I need to master it, I need to do away with everything that does not need to be there. Because there is a lot of things right now that are there that do not really need to be there plot wise. And I want this to be and then some will say it's a naive idea to invest this much into a world that you don't even know you would be interested in like say 10 years. I'd say like sure, I can see that, and if this does get abandoned, it would be a shame because I'm really invested in it. I think about it a lot. Whenever I'm consuming something, whenever I am reading watching something, I always think, oh, I can add that, I can add this, I can do certain things this way, I can do certain things that way, and to lose that, muse, because at the end of the day, that's what this world is. It's a mind. No one can take that from you. And yeah, this world is really dated. I would like to see it grow. I would like to see it prosper. I would also like to see it fall and burn. Well, what can I say? It is what it is.